smaller than a period on this page. Prentice Hall, General Science, 1992, page 87. That's what they teach. I've got the books, okay? Yes, sir.
On the even tapes I watched in here on the creation of the universe, they build up to the point of the very second where the universe is created, and they say they can tell what's happened up to 100th of a second before or after it happened, but they can't tell exactly what it was. They don't know. The very instant that of what was there, what was happening, they just don't know. They don't know where it came from or what it was.
Which puts it into the realm of philosophical ideas or religion. It's a belief.
It's interpretation of people's...
Go back to the Webster's Dictionary definition of religion. A belief in a power that created this universe. Evolution is a religion. This part of it is.
Creationist ism?
Oh, creationist is too.
All right.
Oh, absolutely.
So what's with freedom? Why can't we have a little freedom of religion here? I mean, what's the problem?
Yeah, why don't we get...
Then why not teach both?
Why not teach both? That's my whole point.
Okay.
It's certainly not taught in our schools. Maybe at college level. But I go visit India. I speak in public schools all the time. I've done 60 this year. Okay? I'm in them. I got the textbooks. I look at them. They don't teach anything about creation except maybe to ridicule it.
The ones that do, well, the way you present it is it's very, the facts make a lot of sense, and it's very understandable, but the way that a lot of, I know I've been to many different schools moving around, but the way that creationism is taught, even in the few schools that it is not like this. They don't teach it as cohesive and as they just teach it strictly Bible. This is happening. You must accept it. They don't give you facts to support it. They don't give you any reasons for it.
And you're not allowed to question it either at all.
Yeah, and a lot of places. I know this place I've been. I'm not saying every place is like this, but if it was as cohesively and understandable put together as this, it might be more widespread.
Well, I think it is extremely widespread. In the last Gallup poll, 53% of the American population said they believe the world is less than 10,000 years old. That's true. Believing doesn't make it so.
People believe in flying saucers too, and that doesn't mean there's aliens running around either.
Let's apply that same statement to evolution also. Believing doesn't make it so.
Sure.
Right. Just make sure that point is on the tape here. Okay. Believing does not make it so. You can believe all you want, but it doesn't make it so. Yes, ma'am.
Believing that doesn't make it so either. So
I've never seen God. If I think Oral Roberts had really seen a 600-foot Jesus, he'd still be running. Okay. So I'm not one of those on that part of the lunatic fringe of Christianity either. But go ahead.
Yeah, you don't have a problem with tectonic activity, right?
Absolutely. No problem.
Well, how can you ignore the enormity of time concerning tectonic activity that it would take to build a wrinkle in the Earth's crust the size of the Andes?
Yeah, building on the same uniformitarianism.
Okay. The Andes Mountains, put that in the fact column, okay? Andes Mountains exist, right?
But not due to tectonic activity, is that your point?
The fact that they exist, and they are moving, and earthquakes happen. And Alaska had an earthquake where the ground went up 40 feet in 10 seconds. Tore houses right in half. Are you going to take that same uniformitarian assumption? If the ground can go up 40 feet in 10 seconds, we should have mountains up to the moon. Obviously, there are catastrophes that alter the uniformitarian theory. I think this flood was that catastrophe. I think the mountains arose in a matter of a few months. I agree with tectonic activity. But the fact that the mountains can rise, the fact that we see earthquakes in Los Angeles where the ground shifts 7 feet, does not prove it has been going on for millions of years. It might have all started 50 years ago. Or 500 years ago. You can't prove that part of it. You see my point? Yes, there is tectonic activity. I lived right by the Hayward Fault and the San Andreas Fault. I've been to Reelfoot Lake. I've studied all the major faults in America. Been there, looked at them. Top and bottom, Grand Canyon, Royal Gorge, been there. But that doesn't prove it's been going on for millions of years. It might have all taken place just 400 years ago with a flood.
You're comparing something that rose 40 feet high to the Andes, okay? I'm talking about a mountain range that I feel, based on tectonic activity, was a gradual and continuous. And I'm not saying that uniformitarianism is something that I believe religiously. I just can't understand how, if you've got a 6,000-year time span, and you believe in tectonic activity exists, that you can't, how do you explain the mountain ranges? How do you explain
I think 90% of the mountains, of the mountain height, was formed very rapidly. We saw that with Mount St. Helens. It lost 3,000 feet in 10, 15 minutes. Poof, gone, blown down into the valley. Surtsey off the coast of Iceland. All of a sudden there's a volcano. Mount Paracutin down in Mexico.
Sure, but that's at a divergent point line.
Absolutely. There are cracks in the earth. The Bible says, at the time of the flood, the fountains of the deep broke forth. I think the earth cracked and the water came out from in the crust, and hot water hit normal water, and killed fish by the zillions in that area. And there was, that's why we have the Lompoc, California, 1,500 feet thick fish beds.
Yeah.
To me, you think that 1,500 feet fish beds in Lompoc, California was uniformitarian?
I'm not arguing.
I'm saying that doesn't fit the facts.
Right, they were killed real quick too.
They were killed
slaughtered
quick.
down, yeah. Yeah,
So to me, the biblical account of the flood is a good explanation of that. Certainly not falsified by the fact that they exist. And they're found in all sorts of positions. There was a whale found in 1976 in Lompoc, California, 80 feet long, standing on its tail. Thousands and thousands of layers of sediment all the way around it. And yet for years, the uniformitarianists have been saying each layer is a different season. Well, if you got an 80-foot whale, and the layers are 50 layers to the inch, that whale did not stand there for millions of years on his tail. Obviously, those layers were deposited very rapidly. If you want documentation on that, I got it here on the table someplace. I'm on the Lompoc, California, and what happened? I've got some of the fish fossils, you know. Some are flat in the layers, some are standing up, running through the layers. Those layers did not get deposited in uniformitarian process.
Well, that movement in like in Alaska, that 40 feet, that's directly proportional to the inactivity that hasn't happened for a long time. It takes that pressure a long time to build up. That punctuation of movement took a long time to build the strain. So that one severe movement may have taken thousands of years to build up enough pressure to force that up. So the mountains movement may have taken a million years to build up enough pressure to move that much, 30,000 feet or.
But by the same token, you haven't proven that it didn't start just 4,400 years ago with the flood.
Possibilities of both.
Well, there's still ruins at the 1,200-foot altitude level in the Andes also that indicate like ship piers and tie-ups and things. They're 1,200 feet from the existing ocean level. So you've got a lot of stuff like this. What I find is that you're we have to applaud you a lot because all the anomalies that, I'm not a creationist, but I'm always arguing with people about how the evolution view doesn't work and genetics is really kind of goofy and there's tons of, they find human fossils in coal mines for crying out loud. There's loads of anomalies all over the place. And the straight right hand of the chart evolutionists, big science can't handle it. Same with the energy stuff we're telling you about. They can't handle any of that stuff at all because it doesn't fit into it. But it doesn't lead me to a biblical interpretation. I just think it's just the Bible maybe one more straw in the mix, and maybe one more example of people accounting for these anomalies and trying to grasp with them somehow.
Would the human fossils found in coal mines, as you mentioned, could that be explained by a worldwide flood?
Sure. Oh, there's a worldwide layer of mud. The worldwide, whatever you want to call it, flood catastrophe is hardly anybody will really argue with that when you push them to it. You dig around just about anywhere and you hit a big layer of mud. You go down, bang, there it is. All kinds of people.
I would extend that even further and say nearly all of the layers were deposited during that 1 year long flood.
Okay.